Hello again. We're following up with the third lesson, and as you can notice in this, in your book, page number 3, still entitled as Unit 1, Lesson 2. So it follows on with the reading lesson, which we took last time. This one, the reading lesson. But we're still following up here because, as I promised, it's only 5 minutes video, so you don't get bored. And again, it's a reading text, but it's more about a different type of information about firefighters. I guess if I'm not wrongly understanding this, this page is put or placed differently than scanned here in the internet resource. That it's placed next to the page 2, which we have just passed through. But this shouldn't be a problem for us because this is a continuation of the text. Now, it goes as the last sentence of this paragraph is what we're going to continue from, page 2, line 25. However, their main job is still fighting fires, and this is perhaps the most exciting thing that they do. So it's the most exciting part. Exciting means something that you're kind of like wowing about. All of a sudden it's like wow, and then you're getting surprised. I'm sorry, this word is not in English. I just don't know how I said it. Anyway, so it's just more exciting and more important, more joyful. It makes more sense to the firefighter to fight fire than just train children in a school to do so as part of their job. It's like the most most joyous part. Sorry. Now, the last two paragraphs are about the Saudi Fire Service, and I'm going to read them out for you. I hope you follow on with me without having to zoom this out, but okay, let me do this. Now, in Saudi Arabia, there are 17,000 firemen at many fire stations around the country. To become a fireman, two things are necessary. Well, I like this paragraph. It's a very specific one, as you can see. With presenting the information, it's always 2 or 3 or 4. So when you want to write a paragraph, make sure that you do have specification of what you want to talk about, how many points. To become a fireman, two things are necessary. First, you must be old enough. The minimum age for becoming a fireman is 17. Well, it makes sense. You can start driving here if you're 17. However, most men join the fire service when they are about 20 years old. Maybe at a time when they're studying in the university if they decided they don't want to move forward. Second, you must have at least an elementary school certificate, which means you should finish your primary education up to grade 6. However, an intermediate or secondary school certificate is better, which means better is like more good. The next paragraph is also still speaking about the Saudi fire service, but in different way. When a man joins the fire service, he is given 3 months of basic training at the Civil Defense Institute. So you don't really become a firefighter just all of a sudden and hey, I just joined. No, that's not a club to join. There is a 3-month basic training. I'm not so sure this information is pretty much accurate in this book now, but you may want to research that later on. Then he is sent to one of the many fire stations in different parts of the country. So after the training, you go to one of the stations. However, his training has not finished. Well, which will make sense. You can't just train for 3 months and you go fight fires because you don't want to die. That's not how it works. So finish here is an underlined word. It's an important one. It's the opposite of starting. Now let's continue. There is on-the-job training every day for every fireman. If you want to see this, walk past your local fire station any day of the week. Men who do well in training and who work hard can rise a long way in the fire service. Now, the last sentence is really important because this is where we're going to talk about regarding what the images indicate here, sorry, what the photo indicates here. It goes men who do well in training, which means if you do well taking the training, not the 3-month training. No, it's all about the on-job training inside your station. It's a daily basis training. It doesn't mean that there is a fire every day, but there is a training as if it happened already. Men who do well in training and who work hard, which means they show different kind of work that's just not any work, can rise a long way in the fire service. How do they rise? Well, rising here is pretty much similar to you in school. You rise from a good evaluation into a very good evaluation, and there is an excellent evaluation. That's the same. You just rise up in an evaluation. And in a fire service, men can rise a long way. Here are some of the different civil defense ranks. Ranks are like evaluation levels, where it goes from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. But in the Saudi Fire Service, it's different. There is the mayor, and then there is the colonel, and then there is the let's see, lieutenant. There is a surgeon. There is a general. There is a captain. There is a badja, and then there is a private. I'm not so sure if there is more today or it's just the same. But you can notice the same names are used pretty much in all kind of government services. You must have heard about it before. Now, let's move on to this part of the text, which is really important. It's all about the reading we did before. It goes, now, when you have a question to work on, what matters the most are two parts. The first one is how you're going to answer using the right structure. Two is the content. It should at least make sense and answer the question, not necessarily with a real content, but with just a sensible content. Number one, what does a firefighter do? Well, how do you answer this? It's a what question word. You go, what does a firefighter do? You're not going to use the verb do or does, because you just need another verb to express with. And how you're going to find the answer? Well, that's not really difficult. What does a firefighter do? Now, you want to know that exactly? Let's get back here. It goes in paragraph number 3. However, firemen do not only put out fires. Well, so the first job goes fighting fires, putting out fires. They deal with other emergencies. So the other kind of job they do is dealing with emergency. Now, basically, when you want to answer this kind of question as, what does a firefighter do? Well, you can say a firefighter deals with emergencies. Or you can say a firefighter deals with many emergencies or different emergencies. And you can actually give more details in your answering. You say a firefighter deals with different emergencies, such as, or for example, put out fire, and then rescuing people in car accidents, help if chemicals are accidentally spilled, and you can say teach children about the dangers of fire. Now, maybe you want to write this down. Let me see if I can help you with a notepad. Now, here's how it goes. You want to answer this? What does a firefighter do? You can say a firefighter deals with different emergencies. And you can say a firefighter deals with different a firefighter puts out fires, help people who are trapped in car accidents, oops, well, I'm just gonna use my spacing here. In car accidents, teach children about fires, and let's get back to the page where it goes. In there is also help if chemicals are spilled, and help if chemicals let me remember again, are spilled. Now, there's something I want you to notice in these two types of answers. The first one is a very short answer, so you really can just depend on it in, let's say, when you have a test or a quiz for your material. Now, but what you actually can do when it comes to the second answer is note that there's a comma used between the verbal phrases in the last phrase goes or used with and. It's a grammar that I'm not sure I've gotten in grade 10 before, but let me just give you a quick snapshot review of it. You've got a firefighter is a subject, and then puts out as a verb, and fires as an object. But you want to use another sentence that comes with it without having to kind of repeat the verbs again and say a firefighter puts out fire, a firefighter helps people, blah blah blah, a firefighter teaches, a firefighter does. It just doesn't make sense. You can use only one sentence, but use multiple phrases like puts out fires, and you can say helps people who are trapped in car accidents. This is another phrase. And then you can teaches children about fires. And then number 4, and helps if chemicals are spilled. Again, notice the and is used instead of the comma because it's the last phrasal verb. Now, when the teacher corrects your answer in an exam, normally she'd grant you like a point 25 mark for each part of this question. For example, she'd go, okay, now you've given me 3 things or 4, you've given me 3 or 4 information about what a firefighter does, so you get quarter here, and quarter for this information, and another quarter for this information. So you've so far given me 4 information are correct, and so you get 1 full mark. Now, if you want to know like what else is being considered, well, it's the verb here. It's puts. It's not put, because it's 1 firefighter. So again, you get 0.25 for it, and you get a final or total of 1.25 mark for this question. Now let's go to question number 2. What different kinds of fires are there? You want to know about kinds of fires. Now the word that it's important here is kinds. So you can look for the answer easily that you know the word. Here you go. There are many different kinds of fires. What are they? There are chemical fires, oil fires, gas fires, and electrical fires. 4 types. Let me give you an answer here. There are different kinds of fires. There are chemical fires, oil fires, another comma, And then there is gas fires and electrical fires. Well, don't forget the full stop. Again, you got 4 types of information. There is a chemical fire, you get 0.25 for it, and there's oil fires, gas fires, and electrical fires multiplied by 4. Bingo, you got 1 mark. But there is also the sentence structure. There are, you can't say there is. If you say there is, you lose the 0.25. So make sure you get the 0.25 and finally get a 1.25 mark for the entire question. Your entire answer. So that's evaluation of how it works. Number 3. Sorry, taking time for this video, but we just need to finish these questions. It goes, what are the necessary things to be a fireman? Well, if you can remember, we've answered this in this paragraph. What do you need to do in order to be a fireman? You need the word necessary. See, there's this word here, necessary. And there is this word here again, necessary. Now, what do you need to be a fireman? What do you need to be a teacher? What do you need to be an electrical worker? What do you need to be a director? What do you need to be a manager? Whatever. Now, let's go with an answer at this one. And the question goes... No, sorry, the answer. First, you must be old enough. So you can say, to be a fireman. Now, how do I know what to answer or start with? To be a fireman is part of the question. What are the necessary things to be a fireman? To be a fireman. Okay? Then we use a comma. You must be old enough. Or you can say, you must be 17 years old, the least. Oops. The least. Also, you must be, you must have at least an elementary certificate. So this is the answer that we've gotten from the paragraph. You must be old enough and you must have at least an elementary school certificate. You can also use the same answer from the text here as it goes. To become a fireman, 2 things are necessary. First, you must be old enough. Second, you must have at least an elementary certificate. So, what this one you go is, you got 2 parts of the answer, and you can actually get 0.25 for the information of 2, and then you get 0.5. Sorry, as a mark for this one. And you also need to check the verb matching with a subject here. It goes, to become a fireman, 2 things are necessary. Yes, 2 things. So you need 25 here. And then there's another verb. You must be old enough. You must be, that's another verb and a subject. And then there, you must have at least, also it's another one. So there are 3 sentences with verb subject agreement. So you get 0.75, and congrats to you, you're getting 1.25 mark. Right? Are you sure? Yeah. Now let's go with question 4, and I'll do it very fast for you here. Number 4. Does the fireman keep on training after graduation from Civil Defense Institute? Does he keep on training after graduation? Well, this paragraph answered well about this question. There is 3 months of basic training, but then he is sent to one of the many fire stations in different parts of the country. However, his training has not finished. There is on-the-job training every day for every fireman. So, does the fireman keep on training after graduation? We say, yes, he does. And then there is on-the-job training every day for every fireman. Okay, so how do I deal with this? Well, first there is the part where you go, yes, he does. That's a very important part of the question where you're answering, does the fireman? So you need to answer with a yes or no, and then you make a full statement of what the information that's missing, yes or how, no, why not. So you take just the same sentence here and work it out. If I'm a teacher and I want to kind of evaluate this, I'd say, okay, she's gotten me, or he's gotten me a good answer about yes, he does, and then I go for 0.25 for the information. In the other one, there is an on training every day for every man. So this is another information, and I go for 0.5. If there is a verb I need to check, like yes, he doesn't, for example, or yes, he do, well, no, you get minus 0.25. And then there is on-the-job training. You don't say there are on-the-job training. So I get another verb here, subject-verb agreement. So I would still consider it. And then there are 0.5. A full mark is usually given for this kind of question. Now there's this kind of different scaling, but this is the general scaling usually of the ministry, so that's how you should be thinking about it. Any spelling mistake, by the way, you can just minus or plus 0.25. Sometimes it's more than one spelling mistake. It's not just one spelling mistake that could just get you to lose it. And sometimes, as for the subject-verb agreement, you lose or gain a 0.5. So you really need to be careful with this. Now, last question goes, give the opposite of the underlined words. Wow, sounds fun. Let's get back to the other page and just underline the words. See the underlined words? You got the word dangerous. Now let's go here. You've got dangerous, and there is different. Now the other one goes exciting, and then there is better. Better is some other spelling could go, and then there is a finished. Let me check if there is another one. No. Now, so the opposite of dangerous is safe, and the opposite of different is the same, And the opposite of exciting, something boring like I just got now with you, and then because I'm absolutely sure you've done that too. Better is worse. And finished, started. Now, good luck with the other videos, and we're done with this one. Goodbye.